will see most of the human race killed off because it is unworthy. It is unworthy of the gift of life.
I don't care what society thinks. They're nothing anyway. They're no better than me.
Until we hear the safe word, we will not stop.
Have you ever thought what it would be like to see a person's head amputated? Think of things so horrible that the human mind cannot imagine them. See all this and more when you see on stage, in person, that crazy mix-up.
I like being set apart from people. I like to be hated.
Safe Word with Jason Rouse.
Hey, this is Jason Rouse, and welcome to the Safe Word Podcast. I was going to attempt to say your last name again. I want to say Miley Cyrus, but it's not. It's Mikey.
Mileos.
Mileos.
She actually took my name and bastardized it. That's what happened.
What do you think of Miley Cyrus?
I don't know. I feel like she was probably a product. You know, her dad was a famous country singer, and she had opportunity and wanted to maybe some aptitude. I don't really know much about her other than that stuff.
Do you, well, as soon as you get into, as soon as Disney gets a hold of you,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're, what is that brainwashing process? Okay, look at the Mickey Mouse Club, Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, Ryan Gosling from my hometown. Town over Burlington, but we'll claim him anyway. He, people are walking by. There's a big wind diffuser on my microphone, and they just think that there's a gay couple talking to a dead squirrel right now.
Yeah, it's like all these LA people are moving to Austin. And it's like, I guess that's what they do.
Well, let's get back to the important stuff. Is your thoughts on Miley Cyrus?
Well, I feel like it's interesting, right? Because like you were saying, when Disney gets their claws in, but it's like we had those shows all the time where in Australia we had a show called Young Talent Time, and it was like, why does everyone want to be the center of attention? What is that? And why do kids see that and be like, that's the life that I want? It's like, I want to be a star. And it's like, and then you become
those American children's pageant shows that turn these kids into fucking suicidal monsters.
Yeah, even exactly. It's like they're peaking when they're like 5, and then their life's downhill from there.
Yeah, and not to mention if you're in the modeling industry and the only asset to your craft is your physicality, and then that starts to fade, and you're done before you're 20.
Yeah, if you're like a 5-year-old supermodel.
Which is it's huge, though. You could be a 5-year-old supermodel.
Yeah, it's true. That's the thing now.
And you get up to an age where you start looking at your bank deposits that your family were so happily dipping into, and now you're 15 and you're done.
Yeah, you're past your prime. Oshkosh doesn't want you anymore.
Can you imagine the kid in the diaper slamming down the phone? Boom! Fuck! I got dropped by Oshkosh. They says the coveralls won't fit anymore, and they're not going any sizes up. Yeah. Smoking, hands shaking. Dude, there's a huge line of coke off his big wheel.
He's like on anti-hormones treatment, just trying to stay youthful forever.
Having a full Hollywood meltdown before you're 10 is amazing. Now, you start comedy in Australia.
Yeah, it was, I was one of those dudes that, had a job, and, people say, oh, I'm funny. People tell me I'm funny. You should try comedy. That's me. I'm a success story, but, without any success.
Welcome to show business.
Thank you, man. Thank you. This is my big break right now.
So, how old are you now? 30?
No, I'm 40.
You're 40.
Yeah.
So you're 40. Yeah, I'm assuming you started comedy, what, almost a decade ago?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty good. I started 2006, so...
I get a read on people. I can smell your years on your abilities.
That's like your X-Men ability.
It's
you can just see
totally-
the rings of sadness.
I can see, but there's some badges of honor.
Okay.
Over top of the scars.
Oh, that's sweet.
So I can tell by your posture that you've been in the business more than 5 years. There's a brokenness, kind of a shuffle, and morning house coat, slippers, coffee.
That's me slowly.
Yeah.
It's me slowly adjusting from computer programming. So
were you a computer programmer?
Yeah. I used to work as a programmer, and then I don't know. I was like saying a lot of funny things, and it dawned on me. Like everyone would be laughing at shit. Yeah. And at one point I was like, what if I took these funny things I was saying and represented them in a way that I could make other people laugh? And I thought I had this huge epiphany, and I was like, oh, that's just writing jokes.
Yeah, well, that's probably the mechanics of your programmer background. Yeah. Is like there's a certain codes that fit into certain areas, and there's a language and a math to it, like comedy. But then when you perform it, you can have a very detailed graph on where you want your laughs and where all the words are going. But as you know, you can plan all you want.
Oh yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't work out. No. It took me a long time. Like I would have sets, and I would be like in the zone or whatever, and say some shit, and then I'd be like, oh, I got to do that again. And then the next day I try to do that again, and it's just bombs. And it's like that's where I realized that it's not really about what I said. It's really like more internally about how I felt and how I connected to it.
Your intentions.
Yeah, it's like you can on the same exact material in pretty much the same general audience, like for me, I live and die based on how I feel inside. Mm-hmm. It's got nothing to do with that, and it's like it took me a while to kind of figure that out and to like try to make myself feel good before the shows.
Yeah, I have a couple tricks that I do on myself to get me at least on the give a shit list of it. So I have to create a certain type of anxiety for myself in some cases to put myself in a position, oh, look, there's a crane. Just flew by, a big gray crane. Look at that fucker.
Well, you're on the Safe Word birdwatching podcast.
I know. Everybody's noticed since I've moved here that I'm easily distracted by squirrels and birds.
I love birds, dude. I don't know what it is. Like when I see birds flying, I think I'm jealous of their freedom.
Yeah.
Like they can just but then they're in groups too, so are they really free?
Yeah, the
crane was.
The idea of flying through the lake above the water is looks very appealing. Look at all the squirrel graves. There's little red flags here. Someone came down here with a pair of golf shoes and sunglasses and stomped out all these squirrels.
The squirrel holocaust here, the genocide of the
2011. Yeah. No, 2018 you start doing comedy?
No, 2006.
2006.
But I did have a little break in the middle, but so I moved to like a...
We call it giving up.
Giving up? No. I feel like unless you... Like, do you know that saying, like people say if you're still trying to do something, you kind of failed at it? So I'm going to just keep going, and then one day I feel like I'm just going to kill myself, and then I'm going to be successcul.
Yeah.
Because it's like he did what he wanted.
Well, make sure you do it on stage as your big closer. That's always been a dream for a lot of us. I'm a big fan of Gigi Allen. And one of his threats to society was he was going to blow his brains out on stage on Halloween. But heroin decided different.
Well, everyone... You just got to be happy with how it goes sometimes. You got to accept. It's very Buddhist. You just have to accept. Sometimes you want to blow your brains out on stage, but life has other plans.
Oh, just to get back at the audience. Fuck me, fuck you, bang!
Yeah, that'd be horrific for them, and it's kind of funny, because it's like people they expect everything to be okay in the end, and we're all gonna die.
I would do a long, drawn out, I would do it where they would, there'd be some silly organ music playing in the background, and I'd come out like a goofy mime, and then pull a wood chipper out onto the stage, and put a glass beside the wood chipper and a diving board and just dive into the wood chipper. And then at the end, bam, 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 as my entrails and DNA spew over, I'd have unprotected sex with prostitutes again for a long time and make sure I got everything that I need to get the cause.
Would it go into like, would you have someone afterwards selling the glass full of your like remains as like your final merch?
The glass is the misdirection. They think I'm going to dive into the cup as a trick.
I thought you were juicing yourself.
No, yeah. I think we should steal a dog today. Are you up for that?
I'm down. I don't think this lady could.
You clearly know who Steve Hughes is.
Yeah, Steve. I love Steve. He's like I used to watch, like, I learned stuff from Steve just from watching him, like, because he's like pretty, he's got some pretty edgy and insightful and accurate ideas, you know. But when I would watch him in the beginning, I would be like, why does he come out and do silly jokes? Like, he comes out and he's like doing like more like stuff like that, and it took me a while, and it's like, oh yeah, because they don't know us when we go out. Like, we watch a lot of comedy.
Yeah, you know that he's a high-level thinker.
Yeah.
You're like, you give us the meat first, but somebody who doesn't know us, you know, I've been explaining that to some one of the local guys, open micers here, is like, he's indirectly kind of influenced by my aggressive persona, but I'm like, I have to make sure that I'm endearing enough to the audience to be able to get away with it.
Exactly. So we watch like a lot of successful comics on specials, but people know them. They've already made up their mind that they know. Like, even Louis was at the point where it's like, he was like, he could just go out and say horrific things from the beginning, and everyone's like, well, we know. And then eventually, like, the thing happened, and it was like, what? But it was like, we watch these things and we think that's how comedy is, but it's like, no, you have to go out and let them know first that you're joking and that you're a good guy. I don't know, whatever. But
you can't get your dick out at a house party. Well, sorry, you can't get your dick out at a house party. But now people, I've created a little bit of a license to get away with a lot of illegal things.
Yeah.
You know, just in the people will accept almost anything from me from the breadcrumbs that I've been laying down for over 2 decades. My friends will actually go to my defense. He's a comedian.
Well, see, here's the thing as well. So I wonder, because it's like, not every audience you get in front of knows who you are, right? But maybe it's just that whole idea that you've created the reality around you, that's who you are. And it's taken that time to create an aura of this guy can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah. And then they they're drawn to it because of the unpredictability of it, and the overtop ideas they come for the car crash aspect of it. They want to see who's going to get caught there's 2 things happening at my show. People watching the show and people in the audience watching the audience watch the show. Those are the return customers come to see, because they always know someone is going to pop.
Right.
Hey, you can't say that. And then the guy goes, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be great. And then you end up in some sort of heckler video online. So Australia, I know they had the Sydney store.
Yeah.
Was the premier comedy club. Yeah. And I think every major city in Australia, and when I say that, I think there was like, if I remember correctly, maybe 3 to 4 major comedy clubs in the country.
Yeah, it was like that. Like you said, there's every major city in Australia, and there's only like 5. You know, like, I mean, there's more, but it's like Australia is like the size of America, but geographically, but it's only really populated on the coasts.
Yeah, Canada. Canadians and Australians tend to gravitate. I think we're of the Commonwealth. Yeah. Our dollar seems to be always the same. On the market for whatever reason. Yeah, and no one lives in the middle of the country. Australia more so.
Maybe it's like because we stayed with England, right? And it was port cities. I guess if England was like a navy based economy bringing over things and trade. So you want to stay where the boats can get to. And then America is like, fuck that, we're going west.
Yeah.
And then they just went through, killed a lot of people. and now it's this beautiful country that we have here.
It's crazy. Are you actually able to go, quote, home? Because Australia's been like, there's no ins and outs, is there? I heard my Canadian fly out of my mouth.
Like, do you mean with COVID or?
Yeah.
I think like.
I know Snoop Dogg's banned from Australia permanently. He's never performed there.
Really?
Yeah, because of his lifestyle.
That's kind of weird. Like, I do think, because it's like you see, there's a lot of weed in Australia, but it's like, is that? Do you
cocaine?
Think
it's like $300 a gram.
Yeah, it's super expensive,
and it's horseshit. From like, it's like dry. Anyway, yeah, you don't go to Australia to buy illegal substances.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I have friends that would like talk about going to, like, because they did cocaine and they would go to like Colombia, and it's like. Crazy, like for them, it's like crazy, you know, because it's like.
Oh, they probably die. Yeah. You know, British people in Spain, sunburned, blackout drunk, fighting the local police in jail.
yeah.
You take a bunch of Aussies and some good booze and Colombian.
Yeah,
everybody's in a knife fight.
Yeah, it's like I feel like that's what kind of prohibition does to people, you know. Like America, the drinking age is 21.
Yeah.
And then everyone's just kind of, they're still doing it, but when they're 21, they become like maniacs.
I don't know how, because unless you're drinking straight liquor, because the beer is piss, as you know. Like American beer might be, it's like, hey, can I just pretend I'm a Brita for 12 hours? Like, there's no alcohol in it. And I found out that I'd be touring in North America, and then I'd go over to like Belgium and black out after 3 beers.
Yeah, so I think maybe that's what it is, because it's like the drinking age is 21. They don't have that developed palate for beer. So it's like they have to drink a lot of lighter beers.
It's crazy.
Like in other countries, like...
I think Australians call American beer Gatorade. Right? For rehydration.
Well, yeah, we drink it to get electrolytes back.
Do you get wasted?
I do, but I don't drink beer. Because I drink a lot of whiskey. Because it's kind of, I drink whiskey for the least manly reason possible. It's lower in calories.
Yeah.
You know?
I was drinking gin for the same reason. It was the last on my list of drinks, and I ended up on that one for about 4 years. Bombay. That blue bottle was, I was like a beacon of hope for me when I traveled and stuff. Because I was mixing, everyone tried to buy you a multitude of shots and various drinks. And now my stomach is like the inside of a football. And I can't do it.
Yeah, I feel like... So does gin have a lot... I've been drank a lot of gin. Does it have a flavor profile to it?
It tastes like pine cones.
Okay. So for me, the idea about whiskey was that you can get like a big variety of whiskeys and still have like, without having to mix it with anything, have like different experiences.
Plus, it's kind of a gentleman's drink.
True.
Right?
You look kind of, yeah. But then sometimes I feel like a wanker drinking like whiskey.
200-year-old barrel whiskey.
And I don't like bourbon as much and stuff, because I feel like it's too thick and syrupy or something. So I don't know. I prefer like a Scotch. But lately I've been drinking Irish whiskey because it's even light. It feels lighter to me, and it's easy to drink. And it's cheaper.
Yeah, I think in the beginning of my not drinking beer anymore, I went to Jack Daniels and Coke. I thought that was kind of the next thing, but I was drinking so much soda. Dude, I was like drinking 3 liters of Coca-Cola in a night, every other night, and then 15 beers on top of that. It was my guts were raw. And when I lived in London, I was so bloated from kebabs and pints. I was starting to take on the physicality of Benny Hill. I think it's.
I would like to see like Jason Rouse, Benny Hill.
Oh,
that sounds like your last show idea, where the music comes out and then you jump.
Just me running from the police. Oh, it's like a windstorm. This is a perfect time to be out on a bridge doing a podcast. And by the way, this has happened only in Austin. Those ladies that rode by us, she waved to me and smiled.
Oh.
Like, hello.
Hello.
How are you? I never get
Southern hospitality.
no girls have ever waved to me.
So
I've gotten the finger.
Are you uncomfortable?
No, yeah, I'm like
Piece of meat.
No. I'm like, you're a bad judge of character.
You're supposed to be scared of me, lady.
I just anticipate just being ignored by society in general. You know, I'm wearing a hoodie, sunglasses. She can clearly see my legs are heavily tattooed. Yet she's like, oh, hello, neighbor.
Hi there. Welcome to our town.
You were in London, were you?
I went.
For a minute?
I've only been through London a few times. My mum used to live near there, and so anytime. Well, she lived like in Eastbourne.
Oh yeah, I've done gigs in Eastbourne.
And so I went like.
I think they had a Jongleurs there for a minute.
Yeah, I don't know. So a lot of Australians try to go from Australia to England
To work in pubs.
Yeah, and it's like I never felt like I always wanted to, and then they build success, and then they come here, and I just did the opposite. I had the opportunity to come here, and I've always kind of leaned more towards American comedy. I don't know, my view.
This girl's gonna steamroll you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No eye contact there.
No
No eye contact. It's the bandana around your neck.
I think it was.
We look like we're in a movie called Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. So for me, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I feel like my impression of English comedy, and I'm 100% probably wrong, is that it's more based on like wittiness and cleverness.
Yeah.
And a lot, maybe not all of it, but a lot of it seems to be like skirting the rules of language.
Yes.
And stuff like, and it's like, these are the rules, haha, look at me break them. But
That's interesting, and you know what? I completely agree with you that we invented it and we'll bend it
yeah, and so
for art.
and then when I see American comedy, it's more like, and again, this is like I'm talking just generalized. There's like all the kinds of stuff, but it's more like this is how I feel and this is how I was in the moment, and this is ridiculous, and it's the ridiculousness of the moment more than like the
Situation
around.
comedy.
Yeah. And
Well, that's why sitcoms are so popular in this U.S. is that a lot of the comedy is geared around getting a half-hour television show up until now. Now it's like you fire up a YouTube channel and an iPhone. Like, there's anyway, yeah. Oh, there's dog shit. Yeah. Should we just go in these porta potties and come dressed as superheroes, chasing people through the park? Mishmashed Aquaman, Batman costumes, just a Frankenstein of kids' Halloween costumes. Not really rescuing people, but just picking up random pieces of dog shit that we had nothing to do with. I got it.
It's a
Spray paint a circle around it.
It's a level of vigilantism that I think they'd be okay with.
Yes.
You know?
You've been log-fathered. That's my calling card.
Father.
Yeah, maybe I follow people around with their pets. See, that's the thing. Everyone picks up their dog shit here. L.A., you don't know whose is whose because I'm like, dogs don't use McDonald's napkins to wipe their bum or shit against the wall outside of a library.
That's true. Have you noticed, like, in places sometimes people will, like, pick up their dog shit and just leave the bag?
Oh, all the
What the
time.
fuck
That
is
happens
that?
here. Yeah.
Like
so
what?
now it's in a green biodegradable. You've just put a ribbon on it.
It's like, is it for are they doing that, like, so that the park people can, I don't know, do they feel like they're making someone's job easier? Like, it's like, we're supposed to pick up our dog shit, but they didn't say we have to take it anywhere.
Well, I don't, like, you've literally made the job worse. You know what? You've touched it, okay, in the sense that you've picked up a stool with a bag as a glove, right? So there's no actual contact. There's unpleasant odor.
Yeah.
And now you've tied it in a knot. Now you're looking at it. you've never had the follow through of maybe I'll walk it up to the nearest trash can and drop it in. They just kind of toss it by the wayside. So now you see all these little Easter cream eggs all over the fucking park.
Yeah, people.
And then when you step, and then again, most of it is in a green biodegradable bag.
Yes.
So now it's camouflaged.
Yeah.
And now it's under pressure. So what do you think when you step on a bag of dog shit? It squirts
And it's
into your son's mouth.
And it's in almost like a little greenhouse.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's hot. Yeah. It's an iron lung of log dog.
Yeah, you've made like a worse landmine for sure.
Mm.
Like if you just left it, it would have dried up and become like.
But yeah, settled into the earth.
Now it's going to be there for like 1,000 years until that bag breaks down.
Yeah, you've literally put an eggshell on a stillborn. It ain't working. Yeah, I don't. I want to get a dog, but I can't right now.
Oh yeah. Are you? Is it moving? Is it rent? What is it?
No.
It's the commitment.
It's the commitment. I don't have the time right now until I move from where I'm at now, which might be in maybe 2-3 years. Yeah. When I move outside of the city into something that has a property, at least an acre of land.
So he can go out and do his stuff or hers.
Totally. The dog's got a dog door that can come in and out. And if I have to go on the road, I just have somebody stay at my house, and I'll have a dog watch.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Yeah, I don't want to, especially with things moving the way they are right now. Yeah. There's really no negotiation for time right now.
Right.
So I'm still a little bugged out by that lady saying hi and waving to
she
me.
She really got to you, didn't she?
Yeah, it really puts me off. I've never had random
all the years of you like trying to craft this look. It's
always been me.
Oh yeah,
I just have the volume turned up a little bit for the stage, but I'm not a very this is all practice for me, these conversations and stuff, to keep me interactive with people and society. Yeah, it's part of my job.
Where are you from in Canada? You mentioned it earlier, but I don't know.
We're the what do you call the low Australia?
Tasmania.
Neds are the Pittsburgh of Canada. I use Pittsburgh as a reference because Hamilton's a steel town about an hour outside of Toronto.
Okay.
So you're looking. Have you seen the movie Gummo?
I don't know.
Okay, you know the movie Kids?
Yeah.
Same director, but think that movie with the Trailer Park Boys. That's kind of like how I grew up.
Like you have so you have a distinct accent.
It's kind of all over the place.
And I was watching this Canadian biker gang TV show.
Black Canadian show? Those are indigenous people.
No, it was a biker gang. It was like
in Canada?
Canadian mafia TV show.
Oh.
And some
was it a motorcycle club?
Yeah. And it was mafia, and then there was a motorcycle club, and the dudes in the motorcycle club sounded exactly like you.
Really?
And I was like, is that where Jason Rouse is from?
My hometown is very motorcycle heavy.
Okay.
I think one of the original motorcycle clubs in North America, back in the late 60s, early 70s, was in Hamilton.
Okay.
I did a little research on some of I just saw some patches and things that I'd never seen before, that I remembered many, many years ago, just around town. But there's been, I think, Sons of Anarchy is kind of, I think a lot of people with Sons of Anarchy shirts have been beat up by real bikers.
I mess with, when I see real bikers in the show.
Yeah, you got real bikers in Australia. It's got a heavy motorcycle scene.
So people would point to Australia and say, you guys got rid of your guns, there's been no mass shootings, and it's like, no, we still had the bikers shut up the airport. You know, there was there are things, and it's like, oh, but that's crime. It's not just regular people shooting each other. I'm like, that's what happens. They still have the guns.
And also a society that isn't so much armed
Yeah.
The fists can be way worse.
Oh, yeah.
If you've ever been beat up with bats and pipes, you wish you could get shot.
There was actually in Sydney. So Sydney is almost like, I don't know how it is now, but for a while it became almost like a dead zone for going out, because people were getting drunk and doing what's called king hits, where they would come up behind someone and just like do a haymaker on them, clock them, and then people would get, I don't know if people got killed, but then it became like they started like doing like crazy, like
It's an epidemic.
yeah, it became like this epidemic of people just brutally hitting people. And then it was like they started like doing weird rules where we have like lockout laws. So after 12 o'clock at night, if you leave a bar, you can't go back in. And then
Just for your own safety.
Yeah, sorry. And then
Because the locals are fucking cannibals.
yeah, exactly. And so and then they have other rules. It's like you can't buy shots after a certain time. And I'm like Scotch drinker, and I'm like, can I get a Scotch, please? And they're like, oh no, we got to mix it with something. I'm like, I'm trying to buy like a $30 Scotch, and you want me to put Coca-Cola in it. And it's like, this is ridiculous. It's like, I'm obviously not trying to get wasted here but that's the rules. Hey, there's one of those green bags of dog shit.
Yeah, literally. I think I'm going to use that as my headshot. Yeah, it's literally green bags of dog shit, which blends in perfectly with the grass and the dirt.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of those green bags I've seen stepped flat.
So it's like, so Sydney's become like kind of like that. It's like kind of boring at night now, because you can't. That's why I kind of left. I didn't leave specifically for the drinking rules, but I feel like Australia is like too overbearing. Like people would ask me when I lived in LA, what do you like about LA? And I would say the crime.
It's another flavor.
Yeah, well, no, it's like...
And you grew up on it, on watching American television. You're like, I know this brand.
I'm in it. Oh, I'm getting stabbed now, just like on TV.
Yeah.
No. Oh, this is what the Hollywood life's about. I've seen this. It's so real. It's like in Australia, we don't have as much crime. And so the cops are just on you for fucking everything. Like here, like
They're bored.
they're bored, yeah, and it's all revenue raising. It's like if you're, and also
Ticket here,
like,
bullshit.
People talk about metric being better, and I do think it generally is. But the one place where the mile system is when you're driving, because it's like you can maybe do 10 miles over and get away with that. That's 16 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
In Australia, you're doing like 4 over. You're possibly getting pulled over. You're getting for sure like a speeding ticket if you pass the camera. Just from 4 over, that's like 2 miles over the limit.
You're monetizing general human error.
Yeah.
Like marginal.
Yeah, and they do it for it's for safety. It's like Steve Hughes talks about this stuff a lot, actually. You know, it's like it's for your safety.
Yeah. In Holland, the dam, if you're in the water, you've gone too far. In England, they have a fence. Don't go there.
Don't go there. And he's got one about how in Sydney there's like a high school for 16 to 18-year-olds, and out the front it's a school zone, and you can't do like more than 40 kilometers an hour. And it's like these kids are driving. They have to be told it's for their safety, otherwise they're going to run themselves over in front of their own schools.
Do you think that there's got to be these type of meetings? I have no clue, but do you think that they look at a country? Okay, let's talk at the top, but regionally, a city. Okay, say the city of Toronto. Yeah. They look at their borders and where they have legal leverage, and then they start cutting it up like pizza. They look at this street and they go, okay, we've been seeing a lot of people getting tickets here for speeding. We're going to set up a regular speed trap to just
automate. Yeah, it's like they're trying to
it's like a game of mousetrap. Your whole day is trying not to get things to fall on you. That the cities put safes over all your doorways so they can ticket you and bleed you out.
Yeah, exactly.
And then someone gets a ticket, and that's a week's pay for them, or worse.
Yeah, so going back to the LA thing, it's like that's why I felt the crime was good, because it's like one time I was just flying through Sunset Boulevard, like maybe doing like 50, and I fly right past a cop. He pulls up right next to me, goes, and I open my window, and he just goes, slow down, and then drives off even faster.
You feel like you've won the lottery, right?
Yeah. Because they have real shit to deal with out there, you know, and where we are, it's like all that It's for your safety. So I think maybe because like Australia is only populated on the outskirts, it's not like that. So when I lived in Arizona, I realized what I liked. It's kind of the Wild West out there still, with cactuses and wild animals. And it's like you can't childproof every cactus in fucking Arizona. Common sense has to prevail.
Yes.
You know, you have to
Parenting.
be one with nature.
Yeah, that
Coexist.
cactus will remind you, it's like burning your hand on the hot stove.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that again. I get the scars.
Exactly. Like if it's like if that cactus was in like maybe in a coastal city, well, actually LA is still kind of common sensey a little bit in parts. It's not as bad as like New York or Australia. But if that was in Australia, there'd be a fence around it. They'd have like corks on every fucking spike. They'd have signs.
You know what? I think it's a control mechanism.
Yeah, I think...
they're building a hamster cage around you, so you can only bump into certain places.
Yeah. What's really weird is, like, Australia's not as, like, litigious as America. Like, in America, people will sue you for fucking everything.
Oh.
But in Australia, they have the safety...
Oh, I hate that. I wish we could just bring violence to the whole aspect to deal with this shit without worrying about a lawsuit. You know how many people I've wanted to grab by the back of the hair and smash their face on the sidewalk? Oh, the squirrel's chasing the crow. See, I got ADD. I haven't had enough coffee today to gear down. Ah, look at that, Mr. Whiskers.
I like crows. I feel like they're... I don't know. I like birds. Like,
yeah,
they look so pretty.
Cool. They look cool. I honestly, my friend's a bird breeder here in Austin, and I've been talking to him a little bit about getting a raven.
Like what is a raven? Like, is that like a big crow?
Well, you're also talking to somebody who knows almost absolutely nothing about. I think it's a bigger crow.
All right, so you would be like.
Edgar Allan Poe is the hashtag I'm going for.
Are you gonna cage this raven or just let him fly free around your house?
I'd set it up so he wouldn't get hurt, and I would let him shit everywhere. I don't care.
Are you gonna like? I wonder if their shit's like blacklight reflective. You have like it'll look like a crime scene in there.
You know what? Yeah, but but crows are super smart. I could probably train him to use his cage when he had. I go, listen, you can't shit anywhere.
Could train him. Yeah, you could train him to like go outside, and I don't know. Are you gonna wait till you have a backyard? Like, is it the same as the dog story?
No, that's more of a. I want to have something living in my apartment besides me and a wife and kids.
Yeah, how do you feel about the wife and kids track in life?
Never.
You're
looking at a 49-year-old pirate.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like.
Look how happy we are.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things. Like, I've got this girlfriend, and she's beautiful, and I've broken up with her so many times just because I don't want kids, and she does. And I'm like, well, then I should let you go and pursue your dreams.
Yes.
I want to be free.
Rather than resent me in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Yeah, no, I've been involved in some relationships that I knew that these women would have been great mothers to a child. But those 60 abortions I've had say other. The 90s were crazy.
I had a joke like that where I used to say that I was like, I thought I was pro-choice, but after all the abortions I forced my girlfriends to get, turns out I'm pro-life. Mine, I don't need a baby coming in here
cutting my grass. Yeah, and it's a little awkward getting a blowjob while she's breastfeeding. It's people will point at that in the McDonald's, especially when you got a blanket over her breast and she's got one over your balls, so people aren't screaming in the restaurant.
Yeah, and then
yeah,
that's like it's frowned upon in like you would definitely not fit in Sydney for sure. That's the extra frowned upon.
I got to get out. Australia's been on my list for a decade.
Yeah.
New Zealand, I know you guys get paired together. And
I mean, it's close by, and it's like...
Auckland Festival and Melbourne Festival are bookended.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, so I was going to... But
if you go to Australia, so that's the thing. So we had that Melbourne Comedy Festival and the Adelaide Fringe, and all these festivals are staggered. So it's like if you go out there and you've already got one show that you're doing at the festival, then there's no reason why you shouldn't go and do all of them.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and then and like I don't know.
As a single guy, yeah, that's a definite thing. But try and talk. Some of these guys can't take off for 2 weeks, and I'll go disappear for 6 months.
Yeah. So my girlfriend has been trying to she understands she's not getting in the way of my travel and for comedy. She's like, all right, she's making a lot of compromises, but then I'll be out and I'll be drinking, and she'll be mad at me. She's like, you're supposed to be. She's Russian. She's like, you're supposed to be out there for work, but now you're having fun.
Yeah.
She just doesn't want me to have fun. I'm like, this is my life. Why can't my life be fun?
Yes, because she's figured that she's made so much a commitment to you that your fun should be done with her.
Yeah, and then she's like, also she's in Austin and she doesn't have friends to go hang out with. And so she's like, well, I don't have anyone to have fun
Russians never have friends, though.
Sure. So that's why she actually wants to leave Austin, because she feels there's too many Americans here. And she vibes more with other foreigners.
Yeah, of course. I've had friends that moved from Europe to LA and they've been in tears.
Yeah, that's
because of cultural. Yeah.
She was literally in tears after. So we moved to Austin and then got her a place because she didn't want to be on the road. And she goes, I want to live in Austin. And I'm like, all right. And then I got her a place.
Your impression of her is terrible, by the way.
Yeah, she sounds way more Russian. No, she's like. You're
not even lowering your voice. You're just going.
You don't even know. I got deeper. She's like this Russian, burly Russian woman with the big beard and
bandana. Hi, my name's Susan.
Hello.
Close the door.
In the mother country, this is how we talk.
There's a hawk.
Oh wow! I found a hawk feather.
They're kind of cool, right?
Yeah, and I took it, and then I remember reading that you're not allowed to take them, right? And then and it was like right on the ground, and I took this red hawk feather, and I never get pulled over by the cops. And then I had this.
Come on, are you serious?
Yeah, and I started getting pulled over by cops, and I'm like thinking, fuck. And I looked it up, like, cause, yeah, I was in up in North Dakota, Standing Rock. And as I was driving down, like I did a little meditation, and then I looked down, and there was a feather just sticking out of the ground. And the reasoning is, it's like, this is the stupidest law. It's like, they say, we don't know how you got that feather. So you could have killed a bird. And it's like, what other area in law do they just say, you're not allowed to have those pants because we don't know if you stole them? Or,
it's like picking up a toenail off the ground.
Exactly. And it was like,
where's the body?
This beautiful feather, and I thought like the spirits of the land gave it to me, and then I started getting pulled over by cops.
That is the cleanest dog I've ever seen in my life. Holy moly, look at you. A cloud of hope. So what? Dog's looking at me like I'm a weirdo. He's walking backwards. We just saw the biggest, whitest, fluffiest, like, holy shit. Who needs friends when you got a dog like that?
Yeah. That's
a wicked, giant, fluffy. Yeah, he's got a great smile. Look at it. Fuck. Oh, it makes my heart ache because I know that we could be pals. He looked at me like, hey, these two are losers. I'll fucking do your thing, man. I don't care if you beat off in front of me. I'm not telling. Dogs keep secrets.
You just want to be friends with the dog, but then it's like, oh, the owners just keep getting in the way of our friendship. They don't understand us.
It's a forbidden love. It's forbidden. It's very Romeo and Juliet. So that girl's about 220 stone. Getting into a rubber dinghy. Like, that's not. Is that 20? Does she look about 20 stone?
She looks.
Because it's like 12 pounds to a stone, right? Or 12 and a bit.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm more into the kilos. But she looked.
Kilograms.
She looked about as heavy as me.
No.
No. I'm a heavy guy.
No, but
you think she's lighter than me?
No, she's got about 60 pounds on you, bud.
I'll go fight her right now and see.
I want to see you guys arm wrestle for a turkey sub.
That's funny. I tried to date a girl that was bigger than me, and then the thing that I couldn't do was like her forearms were bigger than my forearms.
Well, you fucking Popeye?
I just felt like I just can't. Like, it's like, I don't know. Like, people talk about, are you scared of being emasculated? And I'm like, yeah. Like, I want to feel like a man and be a man.
But sometimes the physicality of a thicker lady, sometimes she offsets that with being more sensitive. Where you get some of these, skinny cunts and they come at you like fucking caged squirrels. They're more prone to attack you than a big lumberly lady who knows that she can knock you out with a straight right.
That's bad. Also, like maybe in bigger people, their like neurology is spread out more. So it's like a big, those old people need those big remotes. Yeah. With the big numbers on them. Mm-hmm. So it's like you have more space to learn where the clitoris is.
More of a playing field?
These little squirrels, it's like this tiny spot, and they're just frustrated because no one can find it.
More birds.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that crazy? My house is right there.
Oh, wow.
This is literally the center point of my building, which is kind of neat that this is so close. People fish in here, too.
I always feel weird about when people fish in like public water because I don't know what it is. I have to test I don't even drink tap water.
You're not saying you're supposed to swim in this. There's signs, I think, along this stretch. This
it's
ladybird
like protected and stuff.
No, it's parasites.
Oh, parasites.
Yeah, it's some sort of toxic. You can paddle around in this thing, but you can't get in the water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which kind of sucks because, as you know, it gets hot
Yeah.
in Texas, and just jumping into the water,
A relief, yeah.
it's amazing. Yeah, what's the plan? Like, from just being here, what's happening here in Austin?
Yeah.
With the clubs and the activity and the life. Like, we're living a charmed life right now just by being here.
Well, I think it's compared to the rest of the country for sure. It's like I mean, I've been on the road and it feels like most of the middle of America feels like there is no pandemic. Like people are wearing masks and they're following the rules of like businesses have to follow.
Yeah.
But generally it's like I'm not saying there's no pandemic, but the further to the coast you get, the more kind of crazy it gets. Like I'd been driving around America and everything was felt kind of normal-ish. And then I went to Philadelphia and I walked into a coffee shop and I'm like 20 meters away from the
desk,
the counter, and the lady's like, "Sir, put on your mask." I just had it like just down. And it was like almost like
fucking idiots.
Like well, they were like acting like I was going to murder them.
Yeah.
And that's how different people take
Isn't it weird to see somebody throw all common sense and just general human diplomat, just being, look, you don't need to scream, and you don't need to point, and clean the restrooms here. As far as the mask situation, there's feces all over your fucking urinals from me.
It's probably from them like shitting their pants every time they see someone with no mask on.
What a way to live your life that you're kind of literally hopping on the spot to freak out.
Yeah.
Because someone's, sorry, I forgot my... Yeah, but none of that here.
Yeah, here it's like, you wear it, you gotta do it because like they don't want to get shut down and you don't want to... Here it's more about like respecting the businesses and not hurting, like you don't want the law to come in and shut down their business because you're not following the rules, but that's kind of...
That lady saying hi is a kind of, most people, because of pandemic psychology, there's no interaction. No one wants to really connect or generally open it up for discussion for you to invade their space is the way they look at it. So, fuck, squirrels.
Yeah. Do you have squirrels in Canada for sure? Squirrels.
Oh, yeah. I think
Australia,
red squirrels. No way.
Yeah.
Out of all the things there, you might want to get something that can't kill you.
Yeah, imagine squirrels came and they were just like such a pest and they were just like killing all the snakes and spiders and it's like, you're killing our culture.
What's the biggest snake what's the most terrifying thing that you've seen in Australia? On land?
Probably a snake, but it was like spiders too. But
yeah, that's the bad one because they jump.
Yeah, there's that, and the spiders like are more like people ask like, are you... Like, do you have kangaroos in your backyard and shit? And it's like, in the city, no, we don't have that stuff. But then we do have spiders. we have like the deadly spiders live, you know, and it's like that was scary. But then when I moved to Arizona, we had scorpions there, and they're even more scary. And now I like appreciate spiders more. You know, tarantulas are kind of cool. Scorpions are like these little fucking death machines.
They're pretty hostile.
Yeah, and they run fast as fuck.
Yeah.
And they're like, do you know how people talk about the only thing that'll survive a nuclear thing will be like cockroaches?
Yeah.
No, scorpions have the same thing.
Ah.
So they're like these survival. They can they're crazy survivalists, crazy like killing machines, and they're just like, yeah. I think one of my cats got killed by a scorpion. We were out of town and someone was house sitting, and then they came back and I had 2 cats and one of them was just dead, frothed at the mouth, and that's the only thing we could imagine, like something happened.
Yeah.
Because there was like nothing really else, and they're also UV reflective.
Scorpions are UV reflective?
Yeah, so like I went and bought like a UV flashlight that they sell. Just walked around my backyard and you can just see like glowing scorpions everywhere.
Fuck, like bear traps in the grass.
Yeah. I did catch one in my house and take it out. Like the ones that we had up there were like Arizona bark scorpions, and they have a pretty nasty sting, but they don't, they only kill like kids and old people.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're like the least fun members of society. It's like
the smaller the scorpion, the more toxicity.
Yeah,
breed wise.
It could be. I mean, it could be also like where they live and how they have to, what kind of things they're eating. Maybe, I don't know, but
I'd chop it in half and make a keychain.
But then it'd be smaller and more venomous.
Yeah, but I got 2 friends I don't like very much, so I send them half a scorpion. It's like a horse in the bed, like a mafia movie.
Mafia movie. Yeah. I did in Australia. I did see a snake, and that I was walking and I saw a snake go past, and I just fucking jumped like those cats with the cucumbers.
Yeah. That's always hilarious. My friend used to put a broomstick near his rabbit cage, and it would just lose its shit. It would go fucking insane.
I feel like that's like the most nicest way to sadistically torture animals
is get into their old DNA and provoke some sort of traumatic response to a death threat that's been going around since the beginning of time. Yeah, as you jumped like a cat when you said, because everyone does that. Yeah. Oh, holy fuck. Yeah.
Oh, and it was just like a snake just slithering by. Everyone was kind of looking at it. I wasn't paying attention. And I was just, Yeah. But yeah. I feel like that.
I'm like that with children.
Yeah. They are pretty. They can be a bit much.
I always wanted a snakeskin belt.
Do you feel like the reason you don't want kids, and I feel like maybe I'm in the same thing, is that we're in this arrested development, and we are kids in some sense still, even though we've seen a lot.
Yeah, of course. I think. Comedians in general, it's a look. How many of your mates in show business are actually married, and then actually married with children? It's a lot of comics don't make enough money to support themselves, So to have to bring somebody into it and have to chase your dream.
It just feels like such a big burden. And
yeah, it's tough and it's not normal. And then she's trying to explain to her friends, he's really trying to make it. Is he in university? No, he's just out at open mics trying to do it. And, it might pay off. It probably won't. But, he's not making a hit movie or, It's a very strange discussion to have with an outsider.
That was one of the things. So with my girlfriend, I told her that I'm pursuing my dreams, and if I had a kid, it would mess that up, and I'd maybe consider having kids if I was at some level of success. But I think that's maybe a stalling tactic. I don't know.
Well, think about this. Let's take it one more beat up. You achieve a little more than you anticipated, and I mean. Some sort of you get that small role in a big movie.
Yeah.
You're a little better than a club comic. You're selling out mid-sized theaters in about 6 different countries.
Yeah.
You're pulling in maybe about $5 million a year. You got the house, you got the car, you're married. you have the kids, and then she turns into a cunt and fucking takes it all and makes your life miserable.
Yeah.
And uses your child as a bartering chip to fuck you and bleed you out because you found success and she decided to be your partner. I love those dogs. They're very Mad Max looking.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's the Mad Max breed, I think. I thought the dog was going to jump up and grab this thing out of my hand because it looks like a rabbit.
Yeah.
And then she hard fucks you because she didn't really chase her own dreams and supported yours. And now she resents you because you've made her life very comfortable.
Yeah. And it's like, and then she's like, but what about me now? What about my dreams?
Yeah, well, you weren't working on anything.
Yeah, exactly.
You remember we talked and you said you wanted to have a baby?
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Yeah, I've been trying. So when I get, because of that, like anytime I have like a serious girlfriend, I always try to figure out what passion they could have and try to like foster it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like,
yeah, I've been in long-term relationships where I've seen potential in my partner for things that they'd kind of dabbled in, that they were good at. I said, you know what, if you just apply these kind of rules that I do to my career, you'll probably find way more successes. Your dream is a little more palatable than what I'm doing. This is too Wild West for any normal person.
yeah. There's no linear path. Like I was seeing a therapist for a while, and she was
Bragger.
Like, yeah, therapist money.
You must be doing good. You got money for a therapist?
No, I've not. I've got, so basically my story is that my dad made me feel so worthless that now he has to pay for it all because he actually.
You got a dad?
Yeah, I have a father.
Bragger?
Oh, I'm sorry.
My dad made my life worthless and died.
Aw.
But that's my therapy.
Well, my dad is like, he made me feel so worthless, but then he kind of believes it himself. So he's like, well, now,
passed on
I've
something.
got to pay for it, I suppose.
Well, that's cool that at least there's some growth in the fact that he acknowledged the position that he put you in as a kid to actually give you some sort of help, you know, whether it be paying for therapy or faculty saying, hey, I fucked up.
Yeah.
I'd like to contribute to the solution of our problem of our relationship.
Yeah, but he also says a lot of things like, I don't know, I started like he'd say, when I die, you and your brother are going to have nothing. Like I'm like, are you going to leave us nothing? And he's like, no, that you're going to squander it and lose it all. And I'm like, I feel like
it's none of your business, motherfucker. Yeah. You're dead.
Yeah, but I think he wants that because he wants so badly to feel like we needed him.
Yes.
You know, and it's like
right to the grave.
Yeah, and
he
when
wants
he
to.
that, I say, it sounds like you're cursing me. Is that what you want? Like you say it so much that it's like, are you trying to put like a
it's a Greek
reality?
thing.
Yeah.
My friends, you know, their Greek fathers are constantly guilting them and telling them that they're going to blow it.
Yeah,
most of them do.
My dad. That's what. Yeah, it's like constant. Like, cause it's. His main thing is like his biggest thing is that he's upset that he's like, why can't I have a son that is like me? He just wants someone to continue his legacy, and I'll be like,
yeah, but you're an asshole. Why would you want another one of those? We're full in the family. We're trying to break that branch off the tree.
Exactly, and it's like he also.
It's a control. It's a control. He probably had no control over his life when he was a young man, so now he's trying to gain control by manipulating his relationship with you so that he feels empowered.
Yeah, it's
asshole.
I feel it is. Well, he started to let go of it because it's like he knows it's like a dead end, and then we end up fighting about it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, nothing I can tell you is going to change anything.
Have you ever just slapped him across the face?
I did. I actually knocked my dad out.
Cool.
When I was like, I'm gonna say 17. Yeah.
I knew it. That's the time I saw you punching your father in the face when I closed my eyes.
Yeah, that's what.
Was it in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. You know I can read minds.
I feel that now.
I just did 3 of them in a row.
Yeah. That's
I see wood furniture in the kitchen.
Maybe
like an armchair with like a thick wood armrest. I'm feeling like almost wooded table chair, like a heavy wooden table in the kitchen.
It might have, like I feel like it was more. We had slate on the floor. and it was like
It's definitely wooden furniture in the room.
maybe I had a desk because what happened was he used to watch the news a lot, and then I was playing some rap music, and he just comes out.
How do you set off a Greek Australian in the 80s rap music?
And then he comes out and rips me. He doesn't say turn it off. He comes and rips my speakers out.
I know. I can see it.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like,
Yeah, he's like,
"Why
I
are you
live here
talking to me
too."
like that. And then I pushed him so hard that he came off his feet,
Yeah.
went flying on his ass. And then my mum was almost like Chris Tucker and was like, you got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah. Oh, shit, really? She backed you up?
Yeah.
What's your dad's career? Is he in the mathematic engineering aspect of it?
No, he's like, my dad is another thing too. Like he was like he grew up in like a rural farm thing, but he's done really well for himself. And part of me, like I love my dad and we have a pretty good relationship these days, but it's like maybe subconsciously part of it is like I've spent a large portion of my life trying to convince my dad that I'm better than him by pointing out how stupid he is.
Yeah.
You know, which I know is not a winning strategy. You know, but I feel like he's so successful, but I feel like it's like you can just, I don't know, I feel like he has worked hard, but it's like, I feel like maybe I didn't have the respect that I should have had as a kid because I'm like constantly trying to one-up my dad, and it's like, this dude can do it and he doesn't know shit. And it's like, so what is
that?
life?
Could be exhausting.
Yeah.
You know, when you're appealing to the most, your audience isn't your father.
Yeah.
And but if you get fucking rewired by the bastard, and you're because you love him, and you want to have him, give you a pat on the back and go, wow, good for you. You know, the odds were against you.
Yeah.
And you found some joy and some success in something. And I think because there's some resentment, I think, that anybody that has any kind of dream outside of the norm, if you're actually doing it, it drives people nuts. If you're finding success in it, it makes them insane. If you achieve a level of success and of greatness, they talk about you constantly behind your back.
Yeah, well, for me it was like my dad would be like to my face pretty like putting me down, but he kind of like, I would like come first at math or something, he would be like, oh, everyone else was stupid. It was never that I was good. And it was like I would win the swimming contest and he'd be like, oh, everyone else couldn't swim, but then to other people he was proud of me. And when I was finally leaving to go to America, one of my uncles was like, your dad talks about you all the time and he's so proud of you. I'm like,
you do it in front of me, you fucking asshole.
Like, my dad?
Yeah.
Like I was shocked, and I was like 18.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like and then my mom was the opposite, and she's like constant validation, which kind of made it like worthless, because she was like a puppy.
Unbalanced.
Yeah.
And it didn't have the weight.
Yeah, so
your father was dominating position of negativity, and your mother's love, which is sad, was falling by the wayside because Mr. Shithead had a fucking knee on your neck while you're trying to breathe.
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
And it was like,
I know the types.
Yeah, and it's like I've come to like, I don't know, I had a real, like I was hanging out with some my high school crush way later, and I was telling her, she goes, what's wrong with you? Why are you like this? And I go, well, my dad used to blah blah blah. And she goes, I think I was like 30 or something, or 28 or something. She's like, you're 28, you can't keep blaming your dad for things. And then I just go, I'm not blaming him, but I'm just saying the conditioning I grew up in. She's like, you're 28, you can't keep blaming your dad for things. And then that's where I had the realization that me and my brother, I have a brother, we both grew up in the same environment and we both took it differently.
Yeah, that usually happens.
Yeah, and it's like
my sister and myself, same deal.
Yeah, and it's like I didn't realize, but it's like my dad was being himself. He wasn't actually doing anything to me, but it's how I took it, and it was always my choice
on how you were going to digest it.
Take it, yeah. But when you're a kid you have no awareness of that, and you
hindsight
fall into it automatically. So now, as I've grown up, I'm like, like the liberating idea was that it always was my choice, and is my choice how I'm going to take anything anyone does to me, and then it really, so
That's a great moment because that applies to every relationship in your life.
Yeah, and everything. And it's like you fall back into the patterns.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like muscle memory. But then you have like this back realization that you can step out of and be like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, I'm taking this too seriously. I can step back and laugh at it. I can treat it however I want. Mm-hmm. You know, no one can make you feel anything.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yeah. And that's, you're talking about being in relationships with your significant other that, I lost my train of thought. I love all the animal life here. There's literally about 30 types of birds and squirrels and turtles and ducks and cranes and...
We're in a bit of a utopia. This is like a Eden-esque.
Yeah, and again, nice people, their dogs.
Yeah.
I'm really in awe of everything here. You know what the last decade of Los Angeles was like. The smell of piss on the streets was so pungent. In a heavily populated tourism area, was just there's so much. And I like, as you know, walking. So I was walking through people's shit and blood every day. It was insane. This is the complete opposite.
What was the wildest thing you saw in LA?
That I did?
Or you saw? Okay, yeah. It probably was the wildest thing that you saw, is that what you did?
Yeah, that was under the cover of darkness. I always, to be honest, the wildest thing I seen, and I know people are like, I saw, a Pringles can?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, no, there's something else. I don't know, I was at a porn party.
Okay, porn party.
Yeah, in Chatsworth.
Okay.
A friend of mine, he's a director, and he said, "Yeah, come out to this pool party." And do you know the porn star Bonnie Rotten? She's got spider webs tattooed on her boobs.
Okay.
Heavily tattooed girl. Yeah. Anyway, she opens the door with her tits out, and I'm just like, "What the fuck?" And I go in. And I brought a friend of mine from Canada, and I'm like, "You're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy." And I elbow him, and I go look and there's this hot girl bent over a lawn chair while these two guys are forcing a beer can into her asshole while they're filming it. Just public, just no holes barred, like with the shit piss. I saw a turd on the sidewalk off of Hollywood Boulevard that is easily 18 inches long and as big around as a Pringles can. It was so big. First of all, I walked by it. It was in one piece. I thought it was like a piece of firewood. And I said, I stopped my friend. I go, "Listen, this sounds insane, but I saw something and I need you to come back and look at this with me to identify this moment we're about to have." He called it Bono.
Bono? He named it?
Yeah, he named it Bono because he's a big piece of shit. He called it Bono.
Did he keep it like Homer Simpson with that sandwich?
Dude, I wanted to bronze it and put it on a rifle rack. It was so big, and I just couldn't help but how do you push that piece of
What's the story?
Shit? Yeah, who owns this?
Was it like some giant 8-foot dude? Or was it someone whose butthole was so stretched out?
It looked very painful by the size of it. But yeah, just like piss and shit, blood. I've seen some weird, I remember seeing Roddy Piper at the Improv and stuff like that. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
do you know? I'll tell you the wildest thing I saw was I was walking home down La Brea near Sunset.
Yeah. And I lived over on Fuller behind Rock and Roll Ralph's.
So you know that Ralph's, not the rock and roll one, but the other one.
Yeah.
Right? I was walking by there, and it's just like a sidewalk, like maybe a 1 foot tall shrub, and then on the other side was it was like 5 p.m. on a weekday.
Yeah.
I saw two homeless dudes fucking.
Whoa,
yeah,
guys?
Yeah, guys. Well, one dude was fucking the other guy, right?
Is he awake?
Well, that's the thing. So I see it, and like I see the guy.
Hold on, you got to describe a little more than this. The sidewalk. Is there tents?
No,
is this
tents.
This is just a random hookup?
Walking past Ralph's, daytime, right? Families are there, and I see this dude, and they're fucking. And my first thought is like, haha, I've never seen that before. Good for them.
Yeah.
Right, and it made me kind of laugh.
Start thinking John Lennon songs.
Yeah, imagine.
Start singing that over.
That song, by the way, I think, imagine like you're like a diehard Christian. Like, that's a very provocative song. Imagine the first line, imagine there's no heaven, right? And they're like, that's my whole life. Okay, there's no hell. Imagine God does, and it's like, that sounds terrifying.
Yeah, he's just peeling back all the contrived things of society that we all made up to make ourselves feel better about our state. But realistically, we're on a space rock.
Yeah, exactly, floating through. Yeah. So I see these homeless dudes, right? They're fucking. And I'm like...
You got your arm out like they're beside us.
I'm in the moment. They're right there. Okay? I walk past, I see it, I laugh. Then I see the guy's face, and I'm like, haha. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Because you know how sex faces don't necessarily always look pleasant?
You sure?
And I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, well, what if that dude is passed out getting raped?
Yeah.
And I'm like, now I'm like standing like, I'm going to say like 10 meters away.
A concerned citizen.
Yeah, and I'm like, do I go up and be like, hey, buddy, are you getting raped? Like, that's a bit of a buzzkill. What if he's not getting raped?
Yeah.
Right? And then it's like, and then I see other people, I'm watching other people walk past smiling, having their days. They look over and then they're like, they're horrified. And then eventually I say to one guy that walks past, I go, I'm not sure if that guy's into it. I don't know.
You don't know him.
I don't know. And I wouldn't want to be getting raped on the street.
Is his eyes open?
It was like, I don't know. And then I finally talk up to this dude, and I'm like, can you come with me to go and see if
break up this rape?
Yeah. And then potential. And then as we start walking up to it, the guy that's getting getting sexed, getting fucked,
buggered, mate, fucking buggered,
copping it right in his bunger.
Aye.
Right. He reaches back and starts helping the other guy thrust. And then we just look at each other and we're like, okay, he's into it.
Yeah, they're love.
We laugh and walk off.
Not only is that guy fucking the other guy, these guys have got some sort of like 50-50 going on.
I got you. I'm going to help you. I'm not going to just lay here and just let you do all the work. I'm going to help you do some of the work.
And the fact that you can get two homeless guys, the smell alone. Anyway, thanks for being on the show. How long are you in town before you take off again?
I'm here until the 25th. I'm on a tour with Darren Chase. He's been featuring for him. It's been great. Excellent. Going around the country.
You're one of 10 comedians in the world on tour?
Oh, wow. Now I feel privileged and honored. Yeah, it's been, I like it, man. It's, everyone likes it, but it's, yeah.
Excellent. And where do people find you?
You can find me on my Instagram or Twitter, at Mikey Mileos. Both of them. I feel like if you want to know what I'm thinking, check my Twitter. If you want to see what I'm doing, check my Instagram.
Cool. And I have a sneaking suspicion you and I are going to be doing a shitload of gigs around Texas by the fall. I think September, October, things will be in full swing with all the comedy clubs that are opening up here. And again, women saying hi to me, dogs. It's beautiful. It's such a great environment. And you'd figure with a kind of really happy-go-lucky lifestyle that they have here that they wouldn't need comedy, but they've really welcomed it with open arms. It's fantastic. So thank you, Austin, and thanks for being on the show, Mikey.
Hey, man, thanks for having me, and it was great talking and walking with you.
Yeah, fantastic.
Oh, yeah?
Cheers.
Stop!
What happened was true.